Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we finished constructing in orbit our tanker, and at this point we just need to refuel it quick, and then we're done with this, at least for now. So what we need to do now, of course, is launch another Starship tanker, which of course this is going to be a Starship tanker remake, which should be pretty much identical at this point. So the redone version of the Starship tanker, which should be basically the same thing. Might be slightly different, but it'll be this guy. And we want to launch that and get this. Ooh, that is pretty low located. We need to raise this up a little bit. That is not the core part. Here's the root part. Okay, I'm just going to position that about here. That's too high. That is definitely too high. We need this to be about maybe here or so. How's that looking? Still too high. Need to drop it by another half or so. So about here. How's that? This would be a lot easier if we could just, I suppose we could reroute this. Make this engine plate the root part. And then just move it down like this. That'd make things a lot easier. So let's just do that. And now we can go back up and reroute it again. It doesn't matter what our root part is, but we can just do something like that. Okay. So that should be absolutely fine. We're now basically sitting on the ground, and we just need to lift this thing off, do our recoveries. As I'm noticing that this lacks the drogue chutes. Okay, so the drogue chutes do help a lot with making it more reliable. No doubt about that. So I'm going to just slot these guys in right there. And then as far as drogue chutes on the actual Starship tanker go, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. So we're going to do radial mount drogue chutes. Those are going to end up going about right there. Now we need to double check the staging before we launch this thing. So this should all be correct here. Yes. This needs to be in a separate stage, and that stage would go here. And then this is going to be the mainsails. I want the mainsails and the poodles to all fire simultaneously for now. So we have this stack separator that separates, and then all of these Starship engines fire. Then we're going to have the parachutes on the booster section, then the parachutes on the tanker section, and then this is going to be our 2 engine plates, and we never want to activate those. Okay, so we'll save that, we'll put that out on the pad, and we need to refuel our tanker ship in orbit. Then that needs to go out to the... And we're not going to get paid for this refuel. I want to be clear about that. We're not going to get paid for this refuel, but we are going to get paid for going and refueling HLS and returning to Kerbal orbit. Okay, so that's the overall plan here. It may not make a lot of sense, but trust me on it. And we need to do recoveries. So we're going to throttle up, and we're going to turn our SAS onto kill rot, and let's get out of here. I'm going to commence our gravity turn as usual at about 15 to 20-ish kilometers. I kind of feel like higher is better, because it means we have more time on our booster to turn it around and bring it back. That's the overall idea anyway. So for now, of course, we're just going to go straight on up. And we want to, of course, stop our booster at about 11 seconds of burn time remaining. That'll be absolutely fine. So that's 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers, 10 kilometers, about halfway there. Fantastic. Our surface speed is not increasing all that much, but it's fine. We just need to get up to a particular point, and I'm going to start a gravity turn now. So over we head, and we're just going to park this at 45 once we can get there. Ooh, we're losing attitude here. Let's bring it back around. There we go. That's a little bit better. This thing is not the most effective at turning at this stage. No doubt about that. But it's not necessarily intended to be either. Okay, so let's just position it about here. We've got about 17 seconds of burn time. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Cutting engines, and off we go. We're going to head over to horizontal velocity up. And from horizontal velocity up, we might need to do a little bit of attitude correction. Actually, I'm just going to keep it here. And we're going to burn our apoapsis, which was already reasonably high. We're going to burn that up to about 150, as usual. So this is going to burn a fair amount of the fuel that we're transporting. No doubt about it. That's normal. So that's all looking good. We're going to hit vacuum fairly soon. We need quite a lot more horizontal speed, and that's exactly what we're looking to get. We've got the thrust to weight for that, and that's looking solid. We're going to extend these solar panels once we're a little higher in the atmosphere. We're too low right now. We need to get out of vacuum, or into vacuum, rather. 65, 66, 67, 68, funny number, and 70. Got it. Okay, so now we'll extend our solar panels and extend this antenna. Perfect. And we're just going to push this up to about 150, and then we'll shut down our mainsails and go rescue our booster. That is absolutely vital. So 118, 119, 120 is going to go up faster and faster. 140. And engine shutdown. We're going to shut down our mainsails. And now let's go get our booster. So the booster is currently out of the atmosphere. That's good. As far as its current attitude, who knows? It could be in literally any attitude. So this is going to be exciting. We want to go to immediately surface velocity minus as soon as we can. We want to deploy our air brakes. Looks good. Next activation is going to be our chutes, but there should be a, ghost activation between now and then. We're just going to slowly rotate on over to surface velocity minus with our very sad little reaction wheel. And we're in atmosphere now, so we can steer with these guys, and that will be great. So I want to be at surface velocity here. And I'm going to do a bit of a re-entry burn, but not yet. I want to continue to hold attitude here. So we can see we're definitely a bit off on the surface velocity minus. No doubt about that. But I want to wait until we're a little faster. The longer we wait on this burn, the better. To a point. To a point. So we're at 40 kilometers right now. We should be starting to see some speed up go, or rather we are accelerating. We should be starting to see some effects here soon as we drop through the atmosphere. We're now at 900 meters per second, 30 kilometers up. Okay, we're now seeing effects. I'm going to commence a re-entry burn. And shoots out. We're still accelerating here with the chutes out. That's not necessarily great. Now we're decelerating. Okay, we should be fine. We should be... Oh, nope. Chutes were destroyed. Okay, this could be spicy. We are decelerating. We're going to have to try to do this without chutes. It can be done. That is very sad that the chutes were destroyed, but it's fine. Okay, commencing burn. Okay. Spicy. Very spicy. I had to focus on that one. Okay. We got there in the end. Fantastic. So that was just indicative that we opened the chutes a little too early. I'm a little surprised that the chutes were destroyed there with our speed decreasing, though. That does surprise me, but it's okay in the end. No actual problem there. So successful recovery of our first stage booster. That is very, very good. Incredibly important for our finances that happens. Because our finances are really tight right now. So we're going to say that we're done with that, and we're going to hop into the tracking station. We got about 250-ish thousand back from that, and that's absolutely great. We are on our Actually, this debris here, there's a fair amount of debris here that should actually be gotten rid of. We're going to have to go through that eventually. I'll probably do that off camera. We're going to hop over here, though, and right now we need to be focused on getting our Starship tanker into orbit. And that is, of course, going to be done just with the vacuum-optimized engines on our Starship. And that's absolutely fine. We need to, at the apoapsis here, be getting ourselves into an orbit that is more akin, not that one, an orbit that's more akin to this. That'll do. It's good enough. We're going to hop over to the node here, and that is going to be in about 40 seconds, but this is actually going to be a longer burn than this thinks. So I believe that we determined that it's about a 5 times longer burn than expected, which means that it's going to be about a 60-second burn, which means that we should commence the burn right now. Okay, so that looks good. Yes, as expected, about 5 times differential between the expected burn time and the actual burn time because of these mainsails being shut down. The mainsails have a slightly lower specific impulse at this point than the Poodles, and we just want as much efficiency as we can get out of these engines. Thrust to weight doesn't really matter all that much. So, this should be at about 6 seconds right about now. It's a little bit lower than 5 times. Or a little higher than 5 times, actually. That's okay. This is close enough. That'll definitely get us there. So, we've got a fair amount of burn time left here, but we are seeing our periapsis come on up. We're now in orbital camera mode, and we're now officially in orbit. Coming out of physics warp there, and this is close enough. Looks good. Okay, so next up, we're going to potentially have to do an inclination change here. We do have multiple tanker ships over here. I'm not sure which is which and what ones need to be gotten rid of. So let's switch to this Starship tanker ship and see what this is. Is this our Bill taxi? I thought I deorbited that. This is not a ship at all. We shouldn't have any probe control here. Yeah, there's no probe control or anything. This is debris. This is absolutely debris. Okay, so this should be reflagged as debris. The one that's a little bit ahead. So we see debris here, which I'm expecting that to be one of those bits that we just kind of dropped in space. But we now know which one is our real ship, right? So that's absolutely fine. This is our Starship tanker here. We're going to switch that, and now we know which ship that we are attempting to dock with. I will say, it's going to be slow to turn this Starship tanker, but it's going to not be too bad. So that's okay. Over on the other side here, we now know that we are looking for this Starship tanker ship. Not the debris, the ship. Okay. Yes. Set as target. Beautiful. And now we need to get ourselves an interception. We're currently about here. Hypothetically, what would it look like? Actually, what's our ascending node? 3.1 degrees. We should change that. Okay. So right up over here, we're going to fix our inclination quick. This is, of course, not surprising given the attitude control issues that we had at launch. Okay, we'll just do something kind of like that. Align to that node. And we'll just slowly rotate on over. 4-second burn means that we should burn this at about T minus 12 seconds, I feel like. So basically this burn time times 3 is the T minus that I'm going with at this point. Last time we did it, it was that times like 2.5. Now we're going for times 3. So we want to warp forward and burn at T minus 12. We'll see how that feels. Okay, continuing to warp forward a little bit. We're about 20 seconds out, and 14, 13, 12. So we're burning now. And this should be about half done once we hit start burn at 0. Right? We can also go by the node. That might be a little bit better. That would probably be better. Okay, we are at about half at that burn time, so that feels about right. Okay, it's kind of awkward to do, but no major issue there. So a small inclination change here. No problem whatsoever. About 10 meters per second left there. And 3, 2, 1, and this is good enough. That'll do. So at this point, we want to see what it would look like if we were to go for a rendezvous. It'll be probably awkward timing, since we didn't launch with that in mind. Yeah, it's definitely awkward, so let's just move this around a few orbits. That's not too bad. Out this way? That's actually pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad. We can work with that. We'll align to that node, and that is going to be after several orbits, of course. We're deeply unsurprised by that, but let's just get into position for this burn. There we go. It's a 1 second burn, so I'm probably going to burn that at the correct timing. Like, I'm not going to manually correct the timing on this because it's only a 35 meter per second burn. It shouldn't matter. Cool. So we're about a minute away here. 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 mark. So it will be a little bit lengthier of a burn than the game thinks it will be, but it doesn't actually affect anything. Our orbit is slow enough that this is not a differentiating factor. Okay, we'll just call that good. So how did we do on that? 4.2 kilometers? We can live with that. So let's warp to somewhere around here. Hopping over into target modes as we do this. It automatically switched into target mode there as we came in, but that's fine. Yeah, there's definitely some debris here. No doubt about that. But that's okay. So the Starship tanker ship is what we want to attach to, right? At this point, we're only 26.6 meters per second apart. So I'm going to take us over here. This thing definitely moves a bit slowly. So we're going to want to be a bit careful with this. But I'm going to bring this around. And commencing a very minor burn out this way. Okay, going up to a higher burn, higher intensity. Something about like that. And we're going to keep turning over to relative velocity minus with the momentum that we already built up. That's not a lot of differentiating speed there, really. 37.3, and we're still 1.3 kilometers out. So we'll have to do some corrective burning or attempting to correct it with our RCS. But to be honest, at 37.2 meters per second, our RCS is not going to budge this very much. So we're going to want to do corrective burning out over this way. In fact, we can already see where we're going to need to corrective burn. It's going to need to be about here or so. So we're going to move this on up. Just curving our momentum here with that reaction wheel. About here or so. Moving it down a little bit. Just shoving that node right on in. That's better. But it's not perfect. 1.1 kilometers, we're going to have to warp in a little bit closer. It's probably still going to be drifting that same direction. Yep, that is indeed exactly the case. Where are we relative? Okay, we're about 2 kilometers away. Noted. So I'm going to continue the burn out this direction. Just bringing this very slowly in, curving our overall trajectory right on over towards the ship. Okay, let's go to relative velocity minus. We can see we're only like 700 meters out, and at this point, it's a 0.1 kilometer separation. So that is, of course, going to be a little bit spicy. We don't want to impact this thing at 20 meters per second. That would be bad, but I don't think that we're going to. I'm just burning a little bit here. We just want to get in close. Yeah, this is fine. I'm completely okay with this trajectory. Okay, we're decelerating slightly. 12 meters per second. 10 meters per second. 8. 5. Okay, just bringing it very, very gently down. 1.5 meters per second. 1.2, 1.1. All is looking good here. Or good-ish, anyway. 3, 2, 1, 0. Good enough. Kill rot. We're going to open the shield here, and we're going to set this guy as our docking port. Now we want to point at target. We might be a little bit too close together here, to be honest. As these turn, they might bump into each other. In fact, I suspect that they will. But let's hop over here for right now. There's a lot of debris around here that we need to get rid of. I'm going to set this Clampatron shielded docking port as our target. I'm going to make sure we're controlling from here, but it really shouldn't matter. I guess it does matter. I guess we were controlling from one of these. That's fine. So we're going to point at target here. And this is going to turn quite a bit faster, I think, due to the extra reaction wheels on these side tanks. But we'll see if we end up impacting. I think we will. I think we're too close. So I'm not going to physics warp this. We're just going to let these guys slowly come together. If we are too close, that's fine. And in terms of how much fuel we have on this thing, we should have plenty. Yeah, we're definitely going to push each other here. There we go. But that's okay. So we can see that we built up like 0.3 meters per second. We still need to do a fair amount of turning here. Docking forces are potentially being a thing right now. I'm not 100% convinced that we need to intervene in this. Although, the amount of wiggling I'm seeing here is odd, considering that there's 4 struts there. This should be the same amount of stable as this. That's very strange. I'm not sure why these struts are apparently having no effect. Huh. They're apparently not connected. That's weird. We might have to send a servicing mission. That's okay. And it looks like we are going to have to bring one of these into the other. I'm going to bring it from here. I'm going to use RCS, and we're just going to bring this momentum over, and I'm also accelerating the momentum towards the target. In fact, let's just get rid of this negative momentum, and let's bring in some positive momentum here. But this is going to be off, no doubt about it. So let's bring that up and over. There we go. And let's accelerate it up a little bit so that we have less drift. 0.3 is absolutely fine. I'm definitely concerned about the strutting here. I wonder if that's going to work better after reloading it, but we might have to redo the struts that exist here. I don't know. They don't seem to actually be connected. And I'm not 100% certain that the fuel line is connected either. We can manually do something about that, but that might require a servicing mission. We can do that, for sure. That's not a problem. So we're just going to get this all docked up here. That's absolutely fine. And what we want to do now is make sure that these fuel tanks are filled up. So we're going to fill it up from like the bottom up here. So we're just going to move this fuel out. This alone might be enough to do the trick. Which would be great. It looks like it is enough. So that's good. We're now refueled, and we can bring this guy right on home. The real question that I have at this point, well, actually, now that we've docked this up, this seems to be solid now. Nope, never mind. I started to move it, and it's not. Okay, so if we're going to try to propel this with our engines, we might have a problem here, and if this is sloshing around, that could hurt our attitude control a lot. So that is problematic, to be sure. We'll keep an eye on that. If we require a servicing mission, I may do it off camera. It would just require Bill coming up here and just redoing these struts, in theory. So that would be the idea. For now, our refueling mission is complete. So I'm going to undock here, and we're just going to bring this guy on home. So this starship is going to pull away. It has successfully refueled. We're going to close this shield, and we're going to head over to orbital retrograde. Okay. This shield didn't actually close, did it? No, it did not. You are supposed to be closed. There you go. And we'll just position in retrograde here. I'm going to put a lot of air between us and the ground, but we're going to keep a fair amount of delta V here. So we're going to... We could activate our mainsails at this point, but I'm not going to. We're going to keep around, I think 40 kilometers is fine. That should be more than enough drag, in theory. Okay, so we're going to do that. If we need to do a re-entry burn, we can. We're going to shut down this engine, and this engine. The next question is, are we coming down on land or sea? Well, it's hard to tell. We'll find out. For the time being, we should warp on forward. Did I activate these mainsails? No, I did not. We have no engines activated right now. We're going to activate the mainsails, but nothing else. We're not going to activate the poodles. We're just going to land on the mainsails. So that seems fine. We're going to head down into the atmosphere here, and we want to be at surface velocity minus. We're now in atmosphere, so I'm going to retract our solar panels and our antenna. Okay, we're just going to position on around. If we start to lose attitude, then I'm going to do a re-entry burn. We'll need to keep some amount of fuel around for a landing, and we hope it's not a land landing, to be honest. That could be spicy. We might lose this in a land landing. I think it's a lot more likely that we succeed a water landing. So for the moment, I'm not interested in doing any sort of a braking burn if we can get away with it. So we're just going to come on through here and just tear our way through the atmosphere, losing a bunch of our momentum to drag. If we get over water, I will probably do a re-entry burn at that stage. But this is over land right now, and I do not want to be over land if we can help it. We can see our surface velocity is slightly increasing at this moment. It's holding. Now it's going down. Okay, that's a good sign. Coastline here. That's a good sign. But coastline is not visible over here just yet. Oh, is that it? No, it is not. Okay, this is just a lake. We're going to continue to cruise through at this altitude. We are going up at this point, and given our current situation, the fact that this is all over land, I'm okay with going up. We are actually not going to be coming in this round, so that's noted that 40 kilometers is not low enough to actually capture. That's very good to know. That said, what I really want to do here is get over water. That is our current goal. So once we get over water, which there is water upcoming, we're going to commence a landing, or rather a braking burn at that point. We are still losing speed here, but it's not as much as we'd like. Okay, I don't like this bit of land here. It's just a peninsula, though. Okay, we're in space right now. I'm going to commence a bit of a braking burn here. Okay. We're losing a bunch of speed. We've got about 19 seconds of burn time left. That's more than what we need. We're going back down now. I want to check our current velocity. Oh yeah, that looks solid. Okay, so we're headed in. That's good. 19 seconds of burn is enough to do a full-on re-entry burn and a landing. So that'll be the goal. We're angling to land this thing in water. Cool. So we're about 40 kilometers up right now, and we are accelerating quite a lot. We should consider a re-entry burn right now, and I'm going to do it. So a re-entry burn is going to bring us down a fair amount in terms of speed. To about there. Okay. So we're going to continue to go down. We are seeing our speed increasing at this moment. We're going fast enough that I would actually expect to lose the drogue chutes. Speed is still increasing. Still increasing. By quite a lot, in fact. We're 10 kilometers up. Commencing another burn. Okay. Wow, this speed is so high. Come on, Shoots. We need you. Okay, we ran out of fuel. So that was a really awkward re-entry ascent profile, or rather a really awkward re-entry profile there. We came down a little steeper than we should have. That's very, very clear at this point. Losing the starship is not the end of the world, though. So we'll recover what we can, but of course, it calls that a catastrophic failure. I call that a catastrophic success. So that is absolutely fine. We are a little sad about that, but that was definitely some lessons learned. 40 kilometers is not a good re-entry capture profile, and we really should be aiming for water when we do that re-entry burn. So that is definitely lessons learned, and we will take that away from future missions. So that's fine. We don't get paid for that mission, so losing the starship is a little bit painful, but we're doing okay financially. And at this point, we need to go refuel that HLS. But it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we'll see about refueling the HLS. If I need to re-strut together that external tank, we'll do that off camera, I think. So I'm ready to move on with this. That's clearly a bug, and I'll fix the bug if necessary. But that'll be an off-camera sort of thing, most likely. You can leave your offerings to the I was going to say to the camera. I don't know why I was going to say that, but you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kintogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.